it's super slow. I mean, I haven't gotten any orders. So I decided just to cruise around. And when my eldest daughter was born, we were staying here at my aunt's apartment here at is this, I forgot the name of it. Whatever, everybody knows. I think, what the fuck is this called? I can't for the life of me remember what this particular housing project is called, but that's a good thing. Because we don't look back, because that's not the way we're going. But I lived here with my son, and I suffered from severe postpartum, and the father was, Jesus, like the lowest of the low, just a step above David, the guy who killed Celeste. And I'm not going to say that he didn't try. We'll leave it at that. So I placed my son up for adoption because of the postpartum, and because I had a rotten father, and my family was just not supportive. And even if they had been, postpartum is all-encompassing. At that time, there really wasn't much to be done. Anyway, back before the turn, you saw all those cars lined up, and that, to me, is a sign of the economy, because that's some bullshit. How many people are living in these apartments? They are unauthorized. They are not residents unless somebody is having a big ass party. It didn't look like it to me. It's just way too many people that don't fit in those apartments. Just too many people that can't afford their own place, their own house, their own apartment. It's sad. When I lived there, hardly, you were lucky if you had one car in the household. Of course, there's families with 2 cars, but that was the exception. I mean, you don't live there unless you absolutely have to. So I placed my son for adoption, and I was pregnant with my daughter, and I kept her because it just hurt. It hurt too much. They were supposed to go together. And I ended up keeping her, and the postpartum and the rough start, the lack of father was not in the picture. And, the father's sister had started dancing, and so I was like, I'm gonna, I'll try waitressing. And of course, if you waitress, eventually they're gonna get you up on that stage. That's what happens to everybody. They want to make money, so if you're warm-blooded, your heart's beating, they want you to dance. And that was sad, but I never did it for a living. And I also never stopped because it was just too easy. Much too easy. And of course, I aged out. So the reason I started making the video is because I was cruising around and I stumbled upon my cousin's old apartment. His mother used to live there with them when they were kids, and of course my mom, she was much too proud to live in government housing, and she always had us in houses. But as far as I understand from talking to one of my cousins and my mom and my relatives, and from what I could gather online, which I'm sure is wildly inaccurate, but a shot in the dark here. From what I understand, the mother began hanging out with somebody that was a drug dealer or someone that was buying her expensive jewelry, flashy diamonds and all that good stuff. And my mom has a nose for things that are beneath her, so she told me, I knew that she was hanging out with the criminal element because her rings and this and that, and she had started changing. She was a different person, blah blah blah. And can I get over there through here? I don't think so. So one day I am at my grandmother's, right? And my cousins, there was 3 of them, Joe, Robert, Annette, and the little one, I've forgotten his name. They were calling my grandparents. They were calling and calling and calling. And they said their mom took them to a motel room and left them there. And then she left and she never went back. Now on my end, what I can verify actually happened because I was there. I saw it with my own eyes and I heard it with my own ears. I remember that day. I remember that phone call. I remember the look of worry on everybody's face. They were worried about the kids. They were worried about my mom's cousin. So weeks passed, months, years. I couldn't tell you. But eventually, she was found way out there past Greenwood when they began building the highway. That road used to be just like a two-lane highway with, a simple ditch underneath. And that's where they found her body. She was under the ditch, just her bones. No way to identify her cause of death. And one of my relatives, I think my aunt, she told me that Joe Robert had tried to report her ex-boyfriend. I think he came out on like America's Most Wanted or something like that. And I found his testimony online. He was giving his testimony at a church, and the story he told in church was it's not what happened. So I really don't know what that was all about. Like, am I misremembering? Or was he misremembering? Was I misled intentionally as a child? Or, it doesn't matter now. But when we hung out when my daughter was little, I asked him about it, and he didn't really want to talk about it. He's just like, yeah, whatever. But I know when I was pregnant with my son, that cousin, he was a homeless, drug-addicted prostitute. And I know that because I saw him on the bus. He approached me. He's like, "Hey, Julia," and he smelled really bad. And I was young. I was like 20 or 19 and pregnant. I mean, I wasn't in a position to be of assistance. And nobody wants to take their smelly drug addicted cousin to their house when they're pregnant, so as a child, I was a child myself. And then about, 5 years after that, we ran into each other, and he was cleaned up and sober, and he had a serious partner. And we went out to dinner, and I met his boyfriend. And then when him and his boyfriend split up, he moved because he was arrested for running drugs through Mexico. He told me, I have to leave. I'm going to be on the run because, I have a warrant for my arrest, blah, blah, blah. So, and I guess, he's out there living life, and they're not going to go over there to where he lives and arrest him. I don't know how it works. But I think if he ever comes back here to Texas or whatever, and I would like to think that that is the reason why he has never contacted me, but I don't think so. I think, I'm just part of his past. And when he was in Corpus and he was leaving, he was on the lam and he was separating from his partner, that person ended up moving to Florida with him. He's in Florida. And he passed away about 5 years ago. And him and my cousin and his sister do not communicate with me. And it's just a little fun story. I'm going to post a long form video for my true fans. Just for fun, because this is what I do now. This is who I am. I write and I post videos. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. It's pretty slow. I'm going to head on home. Good night.